Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass and I got another Conquest battle report. Oh yeah. So today I am playing 100 Kingdoms versus Old Dominion. The list is more focused on infantry instead of like Ashen Dawn, Crimson Towers, Household Knights. Because one of my opponents played a bunch of big bricks and then I got talking to some of the guys online and they're like, hey, can you play some more infantry lists? Can you try some other stuff? And I'm like, okay, well I got some ideas and I'm just gonna go over the list and kind of tell you like what my thoughts and plans were, because I pulled out a chapter mage in water because I want to do like a little funny meme thing, what actually kind of worked really well until I got surrounded and bogged down and died. But we'll get to that when we get to the game. Let's go look at the list. So here's my list. I call it Big Brick Boys, and one of my two warlords is a chapter mage. Also, I'm in veterans. There's a bit of development I want to do on this list because I might play it again, but I might swap veterans to relentless drills, and I might just take, like, I might change how the list interacts, kind of thing. Like, I'll explain the list and I'll explain maybe a bit of my changes I want to do after playing it once, but also, yeah, let's just go with that. All right, so chapter mage, back on track. We have Regalia of the Empire, so this gives Dauntless to Household Guard units, but it's a chapter mage. Like, chapter mages don't start in Household Guard. How am I gonna get this chapter mage into Household Guard? Well, there's a Seek New Escort rule. And I'll just point to the Household Guard right now. There's 9 stands, so I'm going to be running a chapter mage in School of Water who has Arcane 1, Arcane 2 focused, so that they can cast their healing spell into the Household Guard to kind of keep them alive and like have this infinitely generating healing brick going. And due to the size, it's going to be high resolve, and if I don't take like a huge ton of damage, I can kind of like heal through everything and just have this brick do stuff. So that's kind of like the plan. And the chapter mage is some more crossbows, chapter mage is going to Seek New Escort in the Household Guard, and then the Household Guard are just going to run around and do stuff. In my next warband, we got a Mounted Noble Lord, who has the Household Guard unit that I talked about. They're veterans, +1 Clash, Sandbearer, Armor's Master. So they're going to be Clash 3, Inspiring to 4, rerolling 6s, so they're at their maximum output. Great. And then I'm going to have a unit of Mounted Squires who are also veterans for that +1 Clash. I kind of went to veterans because I like to be able to roll to hit. That's kind of my thing. Like, I like hitting stuff, because if you're not hitting stuff, you're not doing damage. So there's a bit of me who like wants to play the relentless drills because of the size of the bricks, and that kind of frees up a bit more points, like because of the Mountain Squires when beginning veterans. But it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying some stuff out today. But anyway, Mounted Squires, we got the veterans. The Mounted Noble Lord with the Lorien Lance and the Weapon Master, he's going to be with these Mounted Squires. That's the only thing he can go into. I kind of wanted a medium character with the Mounted Squires just to run around and like hunt objectives, sit on zones, be annoying. As well, Lorien Lance gives Brutal Impact +1, so his Brutal Impact 2 should be Brutal Impact 3, but the Army Builder doesn't update that, so maybe Parabellum should get on that. Next thing we got is 4 stands of longbows. I actually like 4 stands of longbows. At 4 stands, the 3 extra shots from that additional stand kind of get you enough to like do more work, and they can just sit back and take aim and shoot if they got line of sight, or just shoot over people. And it's just a really nice back-end support unit that you can just have those shots go from like basically turn 1 all the way to turn 10 if you can keep them safe, and they're far enough away from everything that you usually can. Like, the only time they're dying is when everything else is dead. And then I got my next warband. It's the Imperial Officer, because rapid deployment Vanguard for all my infantry is super good. He's running an Armored Dominion Standard Steel. So Armored Dominion, any stands in contact with the character stand don't lose Cleave and Smite. And Standard Steel, any stand in contact with the regiment the Imperial Officer is in lose the Inspired. So just a heads up, like, it gives out Dread, and Dread states like if you're always inspired, you can't lose Inspired. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. But basically, to say this properly, is if you have always Inspire and you're going into Dread, you keep your always Inspire. If you just like Inspire action, you Inspire on the charge, any of that stuff, you lose Inspire. So that's what's on him. He's got Brace for Impact on your feet. That just gives him Bastion and double time to the regiment, and Tactical 1 and 2. Just so I can get that extra heirloom and banner and shit. So, yay. His warband, running men-at-arms, running another unit of more crossbows. These guys don't have banners, and they're just MSUs. And then we got a 9 block of Gilded Legion that the Impro Officer is going to be coming in. This is my only heavy in the list, so I didn't take Tactical 3 to get like 2 heavies. And I gave them Drill Master, Standard Bearer, and Veterans. This is where I'm thinking like maybe it would have been better for Relentless Drills, just because getting that support to 3 instead of the +1 clash, like it's just a huge brick, and you can just do like weighted dice at this point. So that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to try. Like, I might play this list again with adjustments and then showcase it. Like, I think I'm playing a game. Okay, so I played this on Thursday. Today, I'm recording it on Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday, and I'm inviting over my local Dweg player, and we're going to be recording, I believe, a live game in the basement. And because I'm like, yeah, I might as well try those out. Like, everyone could see my face. Oh, God, please. What is wrong with me? Yeah, so back to the topic on hand. I like Veterans because I like to hit. I like Relentless Drills if the bricks are big enough, and I think at 9 stands the bricks are big enough to justify it. Like, you're getting more out of it. The Chapter Mage Water combo in the Household Guard, I might talk about this now, I might talk about this more at the end game, but it is nice. It, like, Tears of Nuala, or Nuala's Tears, or whatever, let me just go dig that up, because this is kind of important for our spells. Actually, why do I need to dig it up? Let me just go to the rules. I don't need to go on my phone for this. Where is it? There we go. Nuala's Tears. For each success, target regiment heals 1 wound. In addition, the regiment rerolls failed morale tests. So I'm usually putting her at the bottom of the stack because I want to heal any damage that was done to them. So I'm not really getting that reroll morale. Call Fog never really came up because I'm just using it for the heals. I believe before 1.15 it was 2 heals per 1 wound. But now, because of how the healing works, you only have to heal half a stand to get the full stand back. It's gone down to 1. And healing 6 wounds is not bad. It's not, but it's not like super great. Like, you're not doing like a big like burst heal, because I remember like using Nuala's Tears back at 1.15, and I would like roll 5 successes and get like 10 guys back, and it'd be like, and my opponent would be like, what the fuck? Like, that's so many guys, and I'm like, yeah. While now it's like you get a stand or 2. Like, you could luckily get 2 stands. So there's kind of that, like you can heal 4 and then you have 2 left over, so then yeah, so if you get max you can heal 2 stands, but you're usually kind of getting like, maybe like you're topping off 1 and then getting another one back. So I'm not super like, yeah, this is a great combo, especially because it's a Household Guard who are not that defensive to begin with. Like, Household Guard are very much the medium killers. Like, they're good into other medium regiments just because they're cleave 1, they got the support. With, you know, being veterans up like this, their clash is pretty decent. They got 4 wounds, resolve 3, defense 3. Like, they have a very like decent stat line, and they're very decked out to go kill other mediums. Like, sometimes you find like a weight hunter, and for 100 Kingdoms, Household Guard are the medium weight hunters, I find, while there's like other stuff in the faction that can kind of like punch up or punch down really well. Gilded Legion, they're just a really solid anvil at this level because they're like resolve 3. Iron Discipline really helps out. Pike, I got to use Pike Formation. We'll talk about that when that comes up. It's kind of funny. But I kind of put more value in the Gilded Legion, but just because of that 1 higher point in resolve, they kind of last a little longer. I'm not 100% sure kind of thing. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, it kind of goes back to the healing. So my game plan here was really put the Chapter Mage in the Household Guard so they can never be broken and no one can duel the Chapter Mage, so I can just continuously heal the Household Guard. I don't think it heals enough to warrant that. That's my problem. I think if I just had a Foot Noble Lord with the Regalia of the Empire, sitting in the Household Guard, just, you know, doing his like 5 attacks with Cleave 1 at Clash whatever kind of thing. That would have been fine with, and then have the Chapter Mage sitting behind the Noble Lord healing them. That would have been fine, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know if they do enough. That's my thing. I'm a little like, they did work, but then they didn't work, but then they went into heavies. Like it's kind of, I think it kind of comes down to, I need to play this more. Maybe that's what I'm kind of coming to. Like, it was a very interesting game. I did make some mistakes on it, and I will talk about those more when we come up to them, but I do and don't like this interaction. I like it because it's a fun, memey thing that you can pull out onto a person. I don't like it because I don't think it does enough to warrant it. Like, I think there's a better way to do it, kind of thing. But anyway, I'm probably gonna play around with it a bit more and see how it goes. I'm gonna slow roll my rules though, so if you want to pause the video and just read them yourself, if there's anything I haven't covered, go right ahead. And then we'll go into my opponent's Old Dominion army. Alright, let's go check out Old Dominion. Here's my opponent's army. It's called Speed Horse because they never gave me a name. And I had to build this off the top of my head, and I believe I did it correctly. So, my opponent has a Hero Deacon, who has devoted to Hazil and Arcane 1, so I can send him to Priest 6, and he is re-rolling 6s on his spellcasting. Really nice. 2 units of Legionnaires, they're just MSUs. A unit of Canophores, these are the melee boys with Cleave 1, Harden 1, they got 2 impact, they're terrifying, flawless strikes, all that stuff. They're a really good beater. I kind of like these guys because they can kind of take a hit because they have Blessed, and they can do damage back because they're 5 attacks, and once they get to that tier 3 for that, like, always inspired for Clash 4, they're doing a lot of work. And then if you know your opponent's not attacking you or doing anything into you, you can bless your attacks and just do damage. Like, they're a really solid unit. I do like these guys. Then we got the Curatids, who got Barrage. No, they're, where are they? Barrage. There, Barrage 3. They got 20-inch range, AP2. So they're really just like running up the table and just taking aim to get their volley to 3 and then shooting from like really far away. I like them. My opponent and I talked about his list after, because I think it's actually pretty good. I just think he needs to free up 10 points and take a second unit of Canophores just to support, because our next one is we're going to the Mounted Strategos. So this is the Warlord. He's got Glimmers of a Golden Age. I'm just going to scroll down and read this because my opponent used this actually on, I believe, turn 3 or 4 for really good effect. Where's Glimmers? There we go. So the army reach a Dark Power Empowerment Tier 4 as a result of the Empowerment section of the rules. So Tier 4 is basically when your opponents roll a 6 on their morale, they take an extra wound. It's not bad. It's kind of fun and like really helps you push your opponent's shit in at that point, because you're just getting more damage. Like, you basically I guess get Smite or Relentless Blows 6s or something for your resolve. It's kind of funny. This supremacy is always be considered active regardless of whether the character stands currently on the battlefield or has been destroyed. That's great. In addition, once per battle, Strategists can activate the Supremacy ability until end of round. All friendly regiments in this army count the current empowerment tier as 1 tier higher, and each friendly regiment may perform a free additional reform or combat reform during their activation. My opponent actually uses this really well in this game, and I was really surprised when they popped it off, because they went, they didn't have enough dark power points when they wanted to attack me. Like, they were still in tier 1, so they popped their Supremacy, went to tier 2, and then I think enough things died where they actually near the end of their turn got to tier 3, because it still counts as 1 higher, but they bumped up their points to get to tier 2, and then this triggered to go to tier 3, and it was like, oh boy, this is really great. And then they were in tier 2 for a bit, and then got back up to tier 3, and then later on till tier 4. So it's actually a good Supremacy. I might have been a little hard on it in the Supremacy episode of the podcast, but now seeing it in action properly and seeing how it works, I'm actually liking it more. And I really do appreciate that bump in Dark Power Point tier from the Supremacy on the turn you need it, and you can control it better for when you do need it. So let's go back up to his list. Mounted Strategos, there he is. He's taking Aberrant Armor and Skrunfring, or Skolfnar. I don't know what this is. I'm going to assume it's a sword. The armor gives Tenacious to the regiment. No. Yes, it does. It gives them Tenacious, so they automatically pass 1 defense save. Skorfnar gives them Linebreaker, and so it gives Linebreaker to the regiment, so getting around shields and bastion, all that shit, and gives Cleave 1 to the character. Cool. Eternal Discipline gives Unstoppable, what is the reroll 6s for your defense rolls. So the Mounted Strategos is going to be sitting in a unit of, scroll down, Kataphraktoi. So there's 2 units of Kataphraktoi here, all decked out. He's going to be sitting in this 5-stand one. My opponent and I talked about it where he should probably be sitting in the 6-stand one for the extra health to keep him alive a little longer. Because I guess I'll talk about Kataphraktoi in this interaction. Kataphraktoi kind of act like household knights from 100 Kingdoms, but they're back at 1.15 rules because they're Brutal Impact 2. They're more defense orientated, like they're defense 3-4 with a shield, but once they finally get into melee with something, they're not really doing any damage. Like they all want to do that damage on the impact, because when they trigger their Memories of Old, they go to impact +1, so they go to 4, and they have shock, so their clash goes from 2 to 3. So they hit in, Brutal Impact 2, do a bunch of damage. They got overrun from the, what is this, Hetrifus, the officer. So if they kill something on their impacts, they get to charge again, and they could potentially kill stuff. So they very much act like shock cavalry, and once they hit something and can't get through it, they kind of act like a big anvil because of all the defensive tech on the Mounted Strategos, because you got Tenacious to reduce 1 dice of defense, and you are rerolling 6s, and your defense basically 4 base because you're 3 with a shield. So you're actually pretty good defensively. And this was a bit to chew through when I had to chew through it, but I eventually did it. But it kept me off a zone for quite a while, and I was kind of like, God damn it. I did not apply the first rule of Conquest. Get on the zones was my big problem this game. So, Mounted Strategos, 2 units of Kataphraktoi, and 2 units of Legionnaires with the Opit, what gives them Vanguard. So these 2 units of Legionnaires are just bolting up the table, and they are basically there to get in the way and die as fast as possible to generate some dark power pool. Overall, I really like my opponent's list. We kind of talked a bit at the end of the game where like he should put the Mounted Strategos into the big block of Kataphraktoi for that extra health, and just be a big anvil with more damage if they do shock. Canifers should probably be swapped out, or sorry, not Canifers. Curatids should probably be swapped out for a second unit of Canifers, because what happened was the Kataphraktoi, and you'll see this in the game, hit in, did a bunch of work, got stopped, anviled off, and then the Canifers can come up and like side charge the thing they're fighting and be that hammer. And so having 2 units of those and then 2 units of Kataphraktoi, you kind of double them up and run each side of the table with them. And I think that would have been really good for my opponent. So yeah, that's it. Also, they're running like 4 units of Legionnaires because you gotta run Legionnaires as Old Dominion. They need to die. So I'm going to slow roll my opponent's rules, pause the video at any time, and then, I don't know, I guess we'll like go to the table and scenario and stuff. I guess that's what people want. Yeah. Alright, there's the rules. Let's go look at the scenario. Here's a scenario for the day. We are playing Scenario 6 Off Balance, and this is using the new scenario packet. So the changes from the old scenario packet to the new tournament scenario packet is that the friendly objective zones that used to sit here, I'll just draw those lines, have all been pushed up 6 inches so that they're more closer to your opponent to start doing engagements. And I actually like this a lot. I think this fixes off balance a lot and makes it more relevant. This was the suggestion Mike and I had during the scenario episode of the podcast where we were talking about the old scenario packet and like things weren't working, and it was kind of like a simple fix was literally to move these objectives up 6 inches so they're more relevant, because this I'll use green. This one sitting on this 12-inch line was very easy to defend, and your opponent was never really going to get to it. And the one at this 6-inch line your opponent would never do until the very end of the game, or if they had something dedicated to get there, like, because you're basically fighting, I'll use orange. You're basically fighting from there to there. Like, that's where all the combat is going to be happening. Getting past that is really tough, especially in this game, because you're just like forcing the bricks through stuff and around terrain. So moving those objectives up really helps out the scenario. And I actually do get my mounted squires into my opponent's objective right here and like kill it off for 4 points. Like I bring them up the table and then I'm like, get in there and do a bunch of damage and kill it. So that's really good for me. And the only way I would have done that and even gone for it was if the objective was that close. If it was back here at the 1 foot, I would have never gone for it because I'd be like, nah, screw that. Besides that, zones are now 9 inches instead of 12, so you gotta fight over them more. Our local Vanguard didn't realize that when they were setting up the table, as you're gonna see. So you're gonna see 12-inch zones. There's actually 9. We just measured from the middle to check for scoring. And there's times where it's like obvious, and if it's not obvious, I'll like shout it out because the regiment's like right in the middle of the damn thing. So it's like, yeah, you're scoring the 9. So we're gonna go out and get some like felt or whatever and make new zones because all of them are going to 9. And the reason a lot of this stuff has gone down from 12 to 9 is that opponents would sit at the edges of each of the 12 contesting and never like charge each other because it was just too far away for like a charge to happen. Because if you're March 5 and you rolled a 6, you're 11 away, so you couldn't even get to your opponent, and it was like not worth it to kind of like scoot move up to try and get to each other, and it was just kind of this chicken standoff and didn't really force an engagement. Well, at 9 inches, if both regiments are touching the zone, you only need to roll a 4, and if you have a Standard Bearer with a reroll, that's a 75% chance to actually get in and kill your opponent. There's a much better odds than the 9-inch circle. So I do like that changes. Changes the score. You get 4 points for every objective marker you've killed. You get 2 for each zone. You get 1 for every additional zone, and you gain 2 VPs for killing the enemy warlord. I also like that this one doesn't have kill points, so it allows more list diversity because if you want to take like an MSU spam list, you're not hindered by taking an MSU spam list. What else? Killing the warlord is fine because usually a lot of them have 1 warlord. There's a caveat. Is it in the scenarios? I just gotta check this really quick. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so it is in the scenario. Just do it in red. This may not be scored more than once per game. So the double warlord for 100 kingdoms is no longer a negative. So taking 2 warlords is the way to go for 100 kingdoms. So if you ever thought like, oh, my opponent's gonna kill my first warlord and then my second warlord and score 4 points, it's like, no, now you don't no longer have to worry about that. So Dynastic Alliance it up all the way because yeah, you can do that and you're not hindered by it. So Parabellum's doing a good job by removing any of the counterintuitive rules, like stuff that hurt you for trying to take your bonuses. So like the 2 warlords, list diversity, like, because like players who really look at scenario packets and like know what scenarios they're going to be playing in before they go to a tournament will design their lists around those scenarios. And if there's like a bunch of kill point scenarios, they're going to bring less stuff but like more heavy hitting so that they have less points to give to their opponent, while heavy hitting things to kill their opponent's stuff. While if there's no kill point scenarios, they might go wider with like more MSUs because they're free to do that. But you can also play like your hard hitting, I guess less activation list or less stuff list into this and still do well because now it's focusing on the actual scenario and not just like kill your opponent's stuff to win. Because there was a couple scenarios like that before. Overall, I like it. I believe there is a rule now in the rulebook. I'll have to double check at some point, but I believe you can put terrain in the zones now. It's like, thank fuck. I don't know about obstructions in the zones, but you know, if you put like water or something, or like a forest, that's green. In the zones, it's probably fine. Like, just throw the terrain in the zones, fight over something. Alright, let's go look at the table. So here's the table for today. we have, let's see here, my friendly objective right over here, and my other one over here. My opponent's is back here, and right there. These are the 9-inch zones, so I'm just gonna circle that a little better. There we go. Yeah, we'll get those fixed for future stuff. We're gonna go out and build some things. Then we have 4 size 3 obstructions just littered around the table, and then we have obscuring, obstructing. I'm just gonna write O, comma O, and then this one is, I think it's dangerous. So on a 6. So if you move, each stand moving through here, on a roll of a 6, you lose a wound. And this one is obscuring, obstructing, and then it's like super dangerous. Danger. I don't know what I'm doing. There, done. Danger. Super dangerous, where if you roll like, if you roll a 6, you like take 2 wounds, and it's like no inspire, no impact for like cavalry and brutes going through this, so it's like super shitty. So it's even it's like super shitty hindering, because it's like hindering plus damage. Well, this is the one over on my end is just damage. This does dedicate my play a little bit, but I should have just ran through it and said fuck it, to be honest. But this board is kind of rough, and I'm gonna explain why. So you have a path through here. You have a path here. You have kind of a path. I'll circle it in blue. You kind of have a path through here, but the the objectives and the obstruction right here just really lock that down, and you're not really putting some big stuff through there. You kind of have to watch it. You don't really have a path through here because your 3 stands can't actually, no, that's terrible. Like, your 3 stands kind of like either hit this building or hit this building. Like, it's not horizontally, they're not like 9 or 8 inches apart, but you can like march up. I'll use yellow. You can march up and then like wheel and then go into this zone, but it's just additional movement. And then on the left, there's like a path, but it's only 4 stands wide. And it's the same on the other side. And it's just like really rough to get into this zone and interact with it. And I screw this up pretty bad. And I'm like, ugh. That kind of sucked. I screw up getting my big bricks into both these zones. And I only realized it on turn 3 where I screwed myself over. And I realized on turn 2 I should have done a couple other things to help myself, what I didn't do. So it just kind of like goes, that really sucks. And lastly, there is a path here, but it's through that like shitty terrain. And I don't really take it because I'm scared of the train. And really, I should just fucking gone through the train, to be honest. Like I said, I should just fuck it and just like ran through it. But I didn't really want to lose a ton of wounds and stands and stuff from the terrain. Because if I'm running like one of my big bricks through there, like it's going to be like 9 or 10 rolls. And you're bound to get a 6. And maybe lose a stand, and it's kind of like, this kind of sucks. So it was one of those like, I don't like this. I do think I don't look at this board properly though, and there's a couple things I would have done differently. I would have probably recognized, pushed my lights like marked crossbows in my list. Fuck, I'll use black. Kind of like over here and over here and over here. I would have put my men-at-arms also on like either, yeah, probably on the left side there, and just have them sit there. And I should have ran both my big bricks like this, side by side, up the table, and just said, and this like, I'll use green, and then just like take all of this and just be like, this is mine now. Kill my opponent's objective. I'll use red. Okay. Kill my opponent's objective here, and then maybe push out to then kill my opponent's objective here, and then just control this side of the table while just being like a dick on the left where the black circles are. Like, in retrospect, I think that's what I should have done. And what I actually do, I will show you as we go into turn 1. Here's turn 1. I get 2 lights. I auto bring on the Mounted Noble Lord and the Mounted Squires, and I roll and I get my Merc Crossbows. My opponent doesn't have any lights, so nothing comes on. I run my Merc Crossbows. I don't want to go into the zone, so I just run them up here. This was a bad move on my part because I'm planning to put Household Guard into this zone right here. Yeah, I'll just read it. But the Merc Crossbows are going to get in my way, and I didn't really have another great place to put them, and it was just kind of like it was just me being an idiot. I will caveat, I only had 3 hours of sleep when I played this game. So I'm gonna put all my bad mistakes up to poor sleep. But I kind of started seeing where my bad plays were as I got to like turn 3 and turn 4 and turn 5, where like my compounding issues started to hit me more and more. And I'm gonna kind of talk about them as we go through each of these pictures, because you can start seeing them like early on, and like initially I'm dictated by the terrain and my opponent doesn't have anything. And I should have been planning for my bricks to be in zones and have easy ways to get into zones, and I didn't do that. And that's a fault on my end. And sometimes you gotta play the list and like really kind of understand how to play your list, how does it interact with terrain and scenario, what are things you need to get in your way, and like stepping on your toes, because a lot of this game I'm gonna be stepping on my toes. But anyway, Merc Crossbows run there, and that's my first mistake. They should have been here. I'll just circle like over there or over there, out of the way. Mounted Noble Lord and his squires are kind of fine because I'm targeting this objective right off the bat, and I think I can take it. It's 4 points, and he's not my warlord, so them dying isn't really anything. And if they can take that objective and then push outwards from there, like deeper, and just be a pain in my opponent's ass, then great. The Mounted Noble Lord really shores up Mounted Squire's ability to kill objectives, just because he has Brutal Impact 3 with the Lorien Lance, and he's probably going to hit their impact attacks and then the clash and actually do some damage. So with that, that's turn 1, and we're getting on to turn 2, where I keep making mistakes. Here's turn 2, and my opponent gets his what is this? His Mounted Strategos and his 5 stands of Kataphraktoi and his Vanguard Legionnaires. So I draw a character, he draws a character, I draw a character, he runs his Legionnaires, I believe, up the table. What do I do? Oh yeah, I move my Mounted Squires and my here we go, and my Mounted Noble Lord up here. I was thinking of doing a march charge into this objective, and I probably should have done that, but I kind of didn't really want to be like charged by Legionnaires next turn. I wanted to get 2 damage on the objective, then get hit by Legionnaires, then kill the objective, and then fight Legionnaires. While if I just did a march charge into the objective now, I'm only doing 1 damage, and then I am spending a turn doing damage, getting hit by Legionnaires, spending a turn doing damage, probably killing it, getting hit by Legionnaires, then I'm working on Legionnaires. And that's why I kind of like stop right there. And I'm kind of stuck because as you can see, I'm putting stuff behind my Mounted Squires, so they can't really back up anywhere. And it's kind of like, another thing what happens is he finally comes out with his Kataphraktoi. They run up the table. I should have marched up 5 with my Merc Crossbows and shot at the Kataphraktoi, but instead I just take aim and shoot. Bad move on my part, because I need these guys out of the way to get these Household Guard into that zone so I can hold on to it and score, because it's going to take them forever to dislodge me if I ever get there. And that's what I fail to recognize with this list, is that once I get the bricks on those zones, it's going to be a lot of work from my opponent to get rid of me. And I don't understand that yet, because it's the first time I've ever played the list. And to be honest, I haven't played in like 3 weeks to a month, so we're doing great. I'll put all my faults on me being out of practice. Yeah. But these are the things I'm like recognizing early on, where I'm like, no, I should have done, like, should have moved the Merc Crossbows up. Like, the Merc Crossbows don't matter. I gotta, like, I need the brick on that zone to win. And I don't recognize that right off the bat. And I start recognizing the stuff like end of turn 3, start of turn 4, where all my mistakes are coming in. Next thing, we got the Merc Crossbows with the Chapter Mage coming up the table. This is slowed down because I probably should have had her and those Merc crossbows on turn 1, but I forget to do it. And so I'm like, now I'm behind. Like, if she was in... I use yellow. Yeah, screw it. If she was here, in that Merc crossbow unit, Household Guard can run up. And she could have... No, because you need to go into a unit you can't activate. I hate Seek New Escort, by the way. Like, I get why it's the way it is, but I'm also just like, god damn it, I gotta, like, do my stack properly. But if this unit was, let's say, her in that unit were, let's say, over here, out of the way, much easier. Where she currently is with those Merc crossbows, much easier. I fucked this up. That's really it. Like, I'm fucking up, like, basic interactions. And sometimes just do that. So, Household Guards sitting behind the Merc crossbows. Merc crossbows take aim and shoot at the Kataphraktoi. Kataphraktoi go down to defense 3, rerolling 6s tenacious, don't take any damage. I'm like, okay, sweet. Longbows run up the table and just kind of side turn because I'm looking to force project basically this way. Because that zone on the left here, as we've mentioned, is really hard to get into. And just becomes a big dumb brawl. And I'm like, yeah, I'll need more longbow support on the right side than I am going to need on the left. So that's why they're like that. And lastly, my men-at-arms just run up the table. Because I kind of want to just get into that zone and start scoring it. Alright. That is turn 2. Nobody scores. Would I be able to score? Yeah, I could have like put in my mounted squires and mounted noble lord and just sat them, use purple, like in this zone to score it and then shot out afterwards. But I'm like, no, once the bricks get into the zones, I'll be fine and I'll be good. But the problem is the bricks never get into the zones. My opponent does something to me where I never like learned. So let's go to turn 3. Here's turn 3. My opponent gets all their rolls and all their reinforcements come in. I just have Gilded Legion left, so they automatically come in. And I believe I get the roll off. I draw the mounted squires. And I charge and clash this objective right here. So it's down to 1 health. My opponent then... What does he do? I think he pulls up some Legionnaires and he starts getting some, like, just one of these Legionnaire unis up the table. Like, here's his other Vanguard unit running up the table. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think he does these Legionnaires yet, but at some point you can see they charged in because and they do some damage. Then I have my Merc crossbows, and once again, they just take aim and shoot at the Kataphraktoi. Should have ran them forward. Didn't do that because I'm playing around with the Seek New Escort rules where both regiments can't activate. I activate my second unit of Merc crossbows, realizing that I want to Seek New Escort. I can't do anything with them, so I just take no action. And I Seek New Escort the Chapter Mage over to the Household Guard at some point. And that's where they're at. But they don't move because the Merc crossbows are there and I can't jump those Merc crossbows. So it's just like, ugh. And my opponent just, as you can see with the Kataphraktoi, just walks into the zone and he starts scoring it. So it's like, great. These longbows, I'm pretty sure took shots at these Legionnaires. There was like line of sight to that and that. And this one didn't get the shield, that's fine, but I kill a stand of Legionnaires. His his Curatids come onto the table at some point and just shoot into the mounted squires, doing a bunch of damage. So really at this point I'm kind of like, I gotta kill the objective and then I gotta kill some Legionnaires and we'll see how that goes. His Canifers run up the table. He's looking to deal with this Household Guard brick or kill the mounted squires and the mounted noble lord. But I think he's more eyeing that Household Guard brick because he knows his Shock Cav are going to do a bunch of damage on the charge and they're just going to anvil up, and then the Household Guard are just going to slowly cut through the Kataphraktois. And that's kind of all the shit what's going on the right side of the table. On the left side of the table, he's got his Hero Deacon and some Legionnaires behind this building. He's just killing off a Legionnaire, and he is Dark Power pointing every turn. good on him. He's doing that combo. And then I have my men-at-arms. They just get into the zone. I think they're like, this one stand is touching from what we checked, so we're good there. And his second unit of Kataphraktoi is coming up the table. This unit of Kataphraktoi end up like here for like 4 turns, and they're like stuck between this objective, and the fight what's happening next turn between the Legionnaires and the Men-at-Arms. And I run my Gilded Legion up because I'm trying to get them up and into the zone, but the Legionnaires and Men-at-Arms are going to be brawling right there, and they're never going to get into like the end of the game, so it's going to be really shitty for me. And that's really it for turn 3. So we both score 2 points, but I'm stuck behind myself, and I haven't thought 3 to 4 turns ahead where my bricks are going to be and giving myself that space. Like, I didn't put that in my thoughts. And you can already see it starting to hurt me, while my opponent is spreading out enough to get around things and move around and to start getting work done. That's really all I gotta say about this, is like, I'm just stepping on my own feet. So let's go look at turn 4 and see how my feet stepping turns out for myself. Here's turn 4. Things that happen. I have my Mounted Noble Lord and the Merc Crossbows go first. There's the objective I just drew. Mounted Noble Lord clashes the objective and kills it. It's down with 1 health. The other 2 Mounted Squires do attacks into the Legionnaires, killing them down to 1 stand. Yay! Then he has his Legionnaires over on this side go in, and they just march charge into the Men-at-Arms so that he can keep the Gilded Legion out of that zone. He then gets shot at by Merc Crossbows, who do some, I think they do like a wound or 2 into the the Kataphraktoi. And Kataphraktoi charge in, as you can see, do a bunch of damage, kills them, overrun charges into the Household Guard. Household Guard, at the end of my turn, activate, and the Chapter Mage heal up some of the guys killed and just do a bunch of damage back. Other unit of Merc Crossbows just like take aim and shoot into the side of the Kataphraktoi, doing some damage. But the unstoppable, tenacious, defensive stats to Kataphraktoi are just becoming a really annoying hammer to deal with. And, well, they're an anvil at this point. Because they're not charging anymore, so you're no longer a hammer. And eventually I'm going to win this fight, but I'm just, like, I'm out of that zone. I'm not scoring that zone. And my opponent here, as you can see, runs up his Canifers to score that zone, keep me out. What else happens? Legionaries attack Mounted Squires. These Canifers move up, shoot my Mounted Noble Lord. This is also his Supremacy turn, so he's a whole Dark Power pool higher. My longbows, I believe, what do you guys do? I believe they shoot. Ooh, that's terrible. I believe they had an ass line right into this one stand of Kataphraktoi, so they just unload a bunch of shots into him, and they kill a stand. The Tenacious Unstoppable is doing really well for them. And, you know, he's moving stuff up, as you can see. I'm kind of on the back foot here because I really need to be in those zones that I'm not, and that would have helped me out a ton because he's kind of free reigning, pushing me back. His Hero Deacon and his Legionnaires, you know, just generate more Dark Power points. My Men-at-Arms eventually fight Legionnaires, do a couple wounds. My Gilded Legion is stuck behind the Men-at-Arms. I can't really do anything because I can't withdraw because I have nowhere to withdraw to. And I won't take enough damage from withdraw to kill off that regiment, so I'm like kind of trapped there. And his second unit of Kataphraktoi here kind of just march up, and he's in a really crappy spot because of the buildings here, that he can't actually like get around these objectives without kind of having his ass or getting within like 1 inch of my stuff to try and like get around them to try and charge into longbows. And he can't really support because he can't go into anywhere because he'll swing out and hit buildings. So his best bet is kind of just to sit on that zone like that, just to keep scoring up, and just have the Legionnaires and Men-at-Arms just fight each other. And yeah. I believe this is turn 4. Not doing so well for me because I'm not on the zones. My opponent is scoring 5 points this turn. So let's go look at turn 5. Here's turn 5. First thing I do is I have my Mounted Noble Lord and Mounted Squire kill off that one Legionnaire. And then they do a charge into the Curatids. Just charge in. And they do a bit of damage. Curatids then kill them and then just march up the table, as you can see right there. And then my longbows just shoot Curatids and get them down to like 4 health, like 1 stand left. So yay, getting rid of that. I think at this point, I'm not exactly sure where he's at, but I think he's getting close to Dark Power Point or Pool Tier 3. On the right here with the big block of Household Guard and Kataphraktoi, I don't really do a ton of damage, as you can see here. Like, this fight continues, I put in a couple more wounds, I heal up some stuff, but I am going to win that, but I'm not doing it quick enough. Merc crossbows are shooting into the side to try and do more damage. My opponent's Kataphraktoi, no, not Kataphraktoi, too many things start with fucking K in this list. You got Curatids, Canifers, Kataphraktoi. Canifers, these things, right here, I'm just circling them. They don't have Unstoppable, they make a charge into the Merc crossbows, and they roll a 1 and whiff it, so they just move up an inch. It's fine, he's still scoring the zone, he's still keeping me out of the zone. Legionnaires just, like, reform march to start getting into that zone. You can see on his left here that his Kataphraktoi are trying to finagle their way around all his buildings, but he can't, and he at one point tried to go like 3 wide and like use the reform rules to try and like get around the building, but he then ends up within like 1 inch of an enemy regiment, so he couldn't do it. And as you can see, the Legionnaires and the Men-at-Arms are still brawling it out. I'm just trying to lose more Men-at-Arms. And the Gilded Legion, once again, is just fucking sitting there not doing anything. My opponent scores another 5 points. Oh, not doing good for me. And you can really tell how those stepping on my toe mistakes for both of those big bricks just hurt me for the rest of the game. And it's gonna keep going like this. So let's go to the next turn, what I believe is 6. Here's turn 6. I forget who won the roll-off, but really doesn't matter. Canifers and longbows, not Canifers, fucking my Christ, so many Ks. Curatids shoot into longbows. Longbows, I believe, either shoot into Curatids or they shoot into Kataphraktoi. But either way, Kataphraktoi, as you can see, are dead. I think the longbows shot at the Kataphraktoi. And the Household Guard kill him. I just inspired Clash, but now I'm kind of like, oh, I gotta go deal with these Canifers, because the Frankers actually made their charge and wiped out my Merc crossbows that were sitting right here, so that's not very good. Before they died, they did get to shoot, and I'm pretty sure they shot into the Canifers and did some damage. Legionaries, moving on to that zone, scoring it. My opponent, realizing that he can't go anywhere between all these buildings, decides to do like a 180 reform and start running away. Because he's like, well, I'm kind of controlling that other side, and he's thinking because he's lost his Kataphraktoi that he's going to have a huge problem with the Household Guard who are going to come in and start killing a bunch of stuff, so he's thinking of like moving them around to get over here to support. Because the Legionnaires and the Men-at-Arms are still just like stalling out, and he's still scoring that. So I'm not 100% sure on this move. I think he should have just like backed up and sat about here and just waited, like having 3 stands in the zone, and just been like, well, the Men-at-Arms and Legionnaires are going to kill themselves eventually. I'll just have these Kataphraktoi to wait to fill up the space so my opponent can't get in the zone and score once that's resolved. This fight happens again, and I'm just like, oh my god, please let me in. Gilded Legion, just sitting here looking. Like, I have nowhere to go, I can't really do anything. I'm just like, what, am I going to triple march back? Do a bunch of reforms, turn around, like, it'd just be fucking terrible. So, like, this whole left side is just a big black mark on my entire life right now. Only thing good what's going for me is that I've finally killed the Kataphraktoi on the right side. I'm looking to get into that zone to start scoring it. Chapter Mage is still healing. Let's go look at turn 7. Here's turn 7. Legionaries and men-at-arms fight, and the Legionnaires do enough damage that the men-at-arms are down to like 2 wounds left. Where at that point, I have the men-at-arms do a withdrawal, and they die to the withdrawal damage, and then my Gilded Legion finally just charges into the Legionnaires, killing them. Before that happened, my opponent started shifting the Kataphraktoi away, but then realizing that now that the Legionnaires are dead, he's going to have to turn around once again and get into Gilded Legion. Longbow, shoot and kill the Curatid that was about there. So that's done. My Household Guard on the right side, charge into the Canifers. He uses Bless to get rid of a ton of wounds. He's hardened 1, so I'm just using Volume Attack. I am healing up a bit, but then he gets his Legionnaires just side charge into me, so now I'm just getting pincered, and I'm just gonna get bogged down to kill. I think at this point, he either still scores 5, or this left zone I think is contested with enough stuff that none of us score, but he is still scoring on this right zone. So I'm just like, god damn. I don't even know what turn it is anymore. I'm just like reliving this. I'm just sad because I'm just watching my stupid mistake, what started on turn like 1 and 2, just drag on to the end of this game, and I'm just like, I literally just stepped on my fucking toes and it fell apart right from the beginning. So that's turn 8. Let's go, or sorry, that's turn 7. Let's go look at turn 8. Here's turn 8. My opponent, I believe, wins the roll-off. Oh, his, I should mention this. His Hero Deacon and Legionnaires back here, he eventually just self-sacrifices them so he has less cards. Because at this point, he's like Dark Power Pool tier 4. And he doesn't want me to be winning the roll-off, so he just kills off the Hero Deacon and Legionnaires to lose 2 cards so that he can try and win the roll-off. Because he has 4 cards, you know, he has 3 cards to my 5. Because I have 2 characters and 3 regiments, so it's like, god damn it. So he wins the roll-off. Has the Kataphraktoi go in, charge into the Gilded Legion. Pike formation just crushes all their impacts because they're like Memories of Olding to impact 4. I strip away 3 impacts per guy, and so they're like, he like rolls like 6 dice and doesn't really do much, and then I just cut off half his unit with an Inspire Clash. Then on the right side here, he has the Canifers attack and do a bunch of damage to the Household Guards. Household Guards try and do some damage to these Legionnaires because I think I can kill them better. But I don't really roll very well and don't do enough. And the Legionnaires then just do more damage into the Household Guard. And I try and heal some. I can't be broken, but I'm kind of in a really shitty spot. Like, I'm not going to heal enough. Longbows, I believe, just shoot into the backs of the Canifers, but they're hardened 1, and he just makes a bunch of saves. I don't really do much, and I'm just like, oh god. So, this regiment over here is broken. So I score this zone. My opponent is still scoring this zone on the right side. I'll just do green. And I'm finally starting to get some points, but it's still not enough. Like, my opponent's taking this game. Like, I needed to wipe out that entire Canifer unit, and I need to do more work. Sorry, I need to wipe out that god damn, it's too many Ks. Kataphraktoi unit, and I had to kill off basically the Legionnaires and keep more Household Guard around, and I could probably fight the Curatids. Maybe I should have just front charge the Legionnaires instead of side charging the Curatids, just to get more attacks into the Legionnaires, and then just took in the side charge from the Curatids, even though that would have sucked. But it's just kind of one of those things where you're like kind of in a catch-22 where you're kind of like fucked either way. Like, my opponent's been controlling this game from the very beginning, and just capitalizing on my really dumb mistakes. So I believe that's turn 8. Let's go look at turn 9. Here's turn 9. My opponent has the Legionnaires. I believe they just clash and kill off all the Household Guard, and then they just like rotate. The Flaily guys, the melee statues, I'm going to start doing this now because I'm trying to use their actual names and I obviously can't do it. These guys just kill off the Household Guard, do a 180 reform. Legionnaires just move around. Longbows take shots into the melee statue boys. These guys rally and clash. Gilded Legion fight back and kill them down to a stand. Still scoring that zone. My opponent still scoring this zone. 2 points for each of us. Let's go look at turn 10, but you can tell the writing's on the wall. I am not winning this game. Turn 10, my opponent, I think they do a charge, but they fail into the objective, like they don't get it. And I just have my longbows shoot more at the Canifers, and then the Gilded Legion go and just kill off the Kataphraktoi. My opponent is still sitting in the zone, so they score another 2 points. I score my 2 points. And that's the game. Let's go look at the score. So I have 12 to my opponent's 20. I think their points should have actually been more, but I'll count them up when I do editing. We'll find out. What can I say about this game? I fucked up big time. I played a list, like, I haven't played in probably almost a month. I was on 3 hours of sleep, and I was like, yeah, I'll just throw some bricks forward. But I played my usual style, and I didn't think 3 turns ahead to make sure that I could get where I need to go. Like, if you're running a big brick list, you really need to plan out turns 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe even 5. I think you need to plan out at least 1 through 3, and you should do 4. Well, actually, if your brick's heavy, then you should for sure do 4. I think, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. You need to plan out from turns 1 to 5 for sure where the brick is and where the brick is going to be every single turn, so that it gets to the zone and it's not interrupted by anything. Because with a list like this, you really need the bricks up front and forward, and just to be in the way. I didn't think, I 100% for sure fucked it up, where I just started stepping on my feet. Like, I got in the way of the men-at-arms, I got in the way of the Merc crossbows. Like, they were just in my way, and I couldn't get in the zones. If I was in those zones, this game would be much different, but I didn't achieve that because I just didn't do it. I didn't, like, think that far ahead. I do plan to play this list again. I think it is good. You really need to plan from turns 1 to 5 where those bricks are going. The Healing Mage in the Household Guard, the Gilded Legion can take a better hit. The Healing Mage is fun, but I don't think I need it in the Household Guard. I think the Healing Mage can just be a Warlord and then can just sit behind the Household Guard in a unit of crossbows, like kind of behind into the side to just shoot just for that extra plink damage, and let's just heal the Household Guard from there. It was kind of a really fun idea, just to be like, well, if I put the character into the regiment, then I never have to worry about them being broken. But I'm like, you can probably just get away with them sitting behind. Nuala's Tears, it doesn't heal as much as it used to back in the previous edition, so I don't know if it's really worth it, because you're kind of like, at most you can get his 2 stands back, what's fine, but you can kind of get into some weird spots where, like, if you have a stand at 1 health, you heal 3, and then you get another stand back, so you get 1 stand back. I don't mind it. I think I need to play around with it more, to be honest. It was kind of fun. It's really good for, like, chip damage, but, like, doing a big, like, Biomancer heal on, like, Force-Grown drones, Spires is going to outplay you for sure. Like, 100 Kingdoms is very much the Jack-of-all-trades faction, and your power comes from your list building, and I really just wanted to try, like, let's put a Healing Mage in a regiment where it can never be dueled. Like, that was my goal. Like, you had to kill the Household Guards to get rid of the Healing Mage. So, I might play it again. The left side of the table was pretty rough. Just those 3 buildings in that triangle really prevented a lot of stuff getting in there and through it. And I kind of want to see terrain from Parabellum, like, get some, like, I guess tournament style, like, tables. Like, there's GTs for Warhammer 40k where they kind of give you scenario and terrain, and you just kind of, like, build that roughly, and that's a table. I like to see some of those. More like, I think it's just because it'd be fun and also give people an idea, like, how to play terrain, because I didn't build this table. And of course I'm going to play on it. I want to play on a lot of things because this is going to increase my experience and knowledge of the game. But those 3 buildings just kind of sucked. It was like, god damn it. I shouldn't have been as scared of the, I believe it was the dangerous terrain where it's like on a D6 you take a wound per stand passing through it. I should have just shoved my bricks through it, like both bricks, and just said, I'm going to put both bricks here, I'm going to put a bunch of archers on that other zone just to shoot at you if you're trying to get through, and maybe put some men-at-arms in the way just to be annoying and kind of like control it, but then really make you fight the bricks. And I think that would have been a better plan. So I think my overall strategy on that table wasn't as good as it could have been. And like going through this game again, like I'm just seeing parts where I could have like done better, could have done better, could have done better. So it's like really good for me. Like you're gonna learn the most from a loss, and that's sometimes good to lose. Well, actually, it's so. One thing I did learn when I used to play War Machine from like a high-end tournament player is that you should lose all your practice games, because you should be really pushing what your stuff can do and where it can do it, and where that line is you can ride from like success and failure, because sometimes it is a fine line. And if you're losing all your practice games, that means you're learning something, because you lost for a reason, and I lost because I stepped on my toes and then didn't take into account for the table from like turns 1 through 5. I just kind of threw some stuff forward and played the game like I normally play it. I didn't actually think about what I should be doing. So if you lose all your practice games, when you get to a tournament, you can win all your tournament games. There's some worldwide knowledge from a high-end War Machine player who probably doesn't play the game anymore. As for my opponent, I really like the tanky horse boys, the Kataphraktoi. I kind of talked at the start about having a second unit of Canifers to support the second unit of Kataphraktoi. I did like the 4 units of Legionnaires just running around, being in the way, generating their power pool, but also being able to ejective chud, because they are in the back and you can kind of like trickle them in, and having the 2 Vanguard units just running forward to die to just generate points is a great plan. I do like the supremacy from the Mounted Strategos, and I think you're going to see more Mounted Strategoses than you are going to see Foot Strategoses, just because of Kataphraktoi are good, but the Foot Strategos doesn't really have anything decent in his warband. So yeah, the supremacy, seeing how it worked, I actually value it a bit more now. The combat reform and the free reform are like fine. I think it's really more just going up that 1 tier dark power pool that is really, when you need it, you can do it, and I think that's actually really good for Old Dominion. And I'm probably wrong in my Old Dominion supremacy assessment. So I'm going to give more points now that I've seen it better than I was before. With that, I hope everyone has a great day. They enjoyed this battle report. BonkTable has a podcast. Come and check that out. BonkTable has a Discord. Link in the description below. And eventually I'll do some more lore videos. I just got busy. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.